when they asked me to present something from France, I chose two examples with the living. So the English is not my best language, so sorry for some mistakes I could do. And one is in Vernon, the name is Prépare-toi, the association, and the second is in Toulouse with the Trisomie 21 Haute-Garonne. Both of them are from are related with the Federation Trisomie 21 France. That means that not from the Federation, but that two associations into the Federation. And to situate them in the map, there is Vernon in northern France and Toulouse in south of France. So for the first example, the association Prépare-toi, for the association name is a pun. That means that's a joke with the words Prépare-toi, because in French, Prépare-toi without T means prepare yourself, and Prépare-toi with T means prepare your roof. So the name make that they are preparing their own roof. And yes, the roof, yes, like that, yes. Yes. And the origin that was in, I think, 1998 or something like that, with a European study in with Spain, Germany, and France. Maybe Pat, you remember that study? I don't remember because even my son was not born at that moment. And the idea was to do not separate job, leisure, and housing, because that was a problem for the people. And in that experience, there is a French journalist, maybe someone know about him, Georges Ourdin. He was a journalist who did La Vie Catholique. That's a French journal, and he's rather famous. He died in 1999 at 100 years, and he had a daughter with Down syndrome. And this daughter had the experience that there was a separation between job, leisure, and housing, and that was really a problem for her. So he himself thought about another way how to make relation between the three ways. And even I had an example in my country, but because a restaurant has opened and they offered, that means a family with two sisters and one parents of one guy, 21 or 22 years with Down syndrome, and they saw that there was no way to have job in that area, so they decided to create a restaurant to give job to people with Down syndrome, and they had opened it 1 year ago, and they will celebrate the first anniversary the 7th of December 7th, and one guy is working there, but for the fathers that's really a problem because he's living at 40 kilometers. There is no train, there is no bus, there is only taxi or father, and it's difficult to get one apartment and one job. So we have not a problem in my country, in my territory, in my community now, but I hope that we can do that like that. So then they were in that reflection in 1998, and the motivation was also what will happen when after their parents' disappearance, because when they will dead, what happened for them? That was really a question. That Vernon is a town with 23,000 people, not a big town, in a rural area. So they thought that also to make them work in another place, it's rather difficult. So the beginning, that was a chance because the foundation, Les Mousquetaires, that's a French supermarket chain Intermarché, bought 2 houses for the association for that project in 2000. And they started in 2001 after works in in the first house. And the organization of that project is that there is one initiation house with 1 common kitchen and living room. They are making workshop there, and 4 bedrooms. And they use it like that. At the beginning, the adults with Down syndrome used to come to the house for a trying period, 1 or 2 weeks, and because there was a group there and they wanted to try it all of them, so they came 2 weeks, and after they let it, and the others came, and they were very happy about it. Now it's still for trying, but also for a longer period according to the situation, because when balloon is free, they can stay in it. And yes, the second house opened in 2004, and there is 6 studios for independent living. And the third house was bought later by the association. The second house was bought by the foundation, and they bought a third house with 2 apartments with 2 bedrooms used by couples like Catalina and Salvatore. Thank you. And 2 studios also. So they use like independent living, and they are there for a long period, and not that like the initiation one. And the structure, because there is with that also structure, that's SAVS, that means Service d'accompagnement à la vie sociale, that's it, accompanying service for social life. It's a medical and social one, and they will receive money from the government annually per year to make the service for the people with Down syndrome. And the professional missions, for example, visit the people with Down syndrome in their independent living twice a week. That means the service decided like that to make a special visit to each guy in the apartment. And the first time they are preparing food together, and they are eating together with the professional and the people. And the second time, the professional is invited by the person with Down syndrome who prepares the meal. The professional pay the meal, but he don't cook with him. He's invited, and he said that they said to me that was interesting, because in that second visit that's like a friend, and they can speak, and they speak different than the first time. The first time is the professional, so he's learning also. And the second time is like invite people, so well, that's different. The relation is different. And they're doing workshops, photos, wellness care also in the common areas. And also they help for work in regular companies. There is a subscription, 200 euros per year for each people to the association, corresponding to one part of the French government disability benefit for the family. That was at the beginning they decided it. That's not for the service, because service has his own benefit by the government to work for the professional, but that's for the association who make also support and for the service.
So it's like his fee they pay?
Yes, like a fee.
Every person pays?
Yeah, every person, yes, for a year, by year, yes. To be in this association, that is a condition to get the service.
Right.
to be really clear, in France, one person who has the support of service is not obliged at all to pay the fee to the association. But in that case, because the apartments are from the association and not from the service, that means the service make the support, but the apartments are from the association, they can ask for the fee for each year, not for the support service, professional service, but for the apartment to get the service of apartment, which is from the association. And there is an expansion of the project. So now other people with Down syndrome or intellectual deficiency are in independent living in the town, in Vernon. That means they are not in the apartment from the association, but in other apartments like that. And some people with Down syndrome are also with in a home buying process by their own with the professional support. And the service user in 2019 is 30 people. 15 are with Down syndrome, 15 with other high intellectual deficiency. The service user professional activity, several are working. That means between the people like that with Down syndrome in the apartment, so some ones are working. For instance, 7 in regular companies with open-ended contract. For example, 1 in the Leclerc supermarket, that's a supermarket chain in France, in the bakery section. 1 in Vernon City Hall as a caretaker. 1 for a caterer in vegetable post, and 1 in the drive of Auchan supermarket, that's another chain, but it's at 30 kilometers from Vernon, and he's going by train by his own to that work. There is others, I am not the precision, but these are 4 examples from that the works in regular companies. And others are working in adapted workshops with professional service. And others decided not to work. 1, for example, said, yes, but I want to go with my fathers on holidays, so if I work, I will come. So I have my money from the government, so I don't want to work. Okay, that is like that. And there is different choice. I don't know if you see at the end, and maybe it's because there is a problem of actualization and between that, and I saw that in my computer, but not in this one.
You can see the percentages.
I can see that. I don't remember. I don't see. No. Yep. That was. No, that was not that. Here. And maybe.
Yes.
Yes. Because yes, it was back. Yes, and others are not in capacity to work. That was. If now I'm going back to the presentation. Yes. It's good. Yes, of course. Like that. And I wanted to present also one experience we connected with the independent living in that association. There they decide to go to Paris by their own, or to make them go to Paris by their own. So the first time with the professional support service, they make a group of eight people with Down syndrome and also intellectual deficiency, and they went to Paris with a professional, with a complete group. And the second time, they traveled to Paris, one day going back without a professional, or 7 persons, because there was one resignation. That means the father actually at the end didn't accept to let their daughter or their son, I don't know, going to Paris with the others. Maybe, yes, Paris, that's very dangerous. You know that. So one detail, one of them, girl, need assistance because she is working with difficulty. And the first time, the group didn't care of her because there was a very interesting in Paris, and though the professional charge of her, several times he had to say to them, no, we have to wait because she's working slowly. But she went with them the second time or so. But at the second time, the group really cared of her without the professional. Yes. So I thought that was a good example, anecdotic, but good illustration to say that when, as you told before, and also when we let them take responsibility as adults, they take the responsibility and they charge the responsibility. So that's important to have experience like that in our association to say, you are and you can. So, father, yes. So, in conclusion, for this example, that person with Down syndrome or preparatoire are really attached to their independent living. They come back to home to see the parents, but they also want to come back to their apartment because that's their life. Yes. And vice president of Trisomie 21 France is a guy with Down syndrome also. He's living in Vendée, in the same area as me, and he's living in a house with another one with a visit like that every week. He likes his home, and he's not going every weekend to his father's home. No, he likes also his home. He likes his father's, and he go. But not every week. Yes, that's his life. That is his life in his home. Yes. So, and when we go to Paris to the meeting, I never went to brought him to father's house. Every time to his house and go back to his house. The second example is Trisomie 21 Garonne Association with a partner, Esperet Association. That's another association, but in that association, the president of Trisomie 21 Garonne is really involved. His wife also, and his daughter also, and his daughter is working now in the association as a professional, yes, as an employee, yes. So one young woman with Down syndrome is working in Spirit with non-ended contract for inclusive living, and she's Camille Lacaze, and since its creation, the association has been active in the spirit of the 2005 law for equal rights and opportunity in France, participation and citizenship of people with disabilities. This law in France is very important, even if we have to change it in some aspects. I can explain to you quickly, but this law appeared before the Convention of Unity States, and that was a real change in France. Before there was law with something for disability, but that one said that we have to change and we have to afford to give help to the people with disability. But they made it in the sense of compensation. That means because there are problems, we have to give them help, human help. And the Convention of Unity States take the problem in different sense, and I think better sense. That means we have to give them accessibility. And that's accessibility is the same for every people. For example, I live like you with clothes, but I don't know how to make my clothes. And if I wouldn't have that clothes, I couldn't be with you, because that's impossible to be without clothes together like that here. So that's accessibility. That's the same, exactly the same for people with Down syndrome who need some accessibility, special ones, to be together with the others, and not only help and personal help. So in France, with the law, we changed something, but now we are in the process to think that we have to change law to be in according to the United Nations Convention. For the families, the things that things are changing also, because after inclusive school, which began really with 2005 French law. That means now we have right to go to school, and my son was born in 2005 precisely. So when I went to school, I didn't say, may I give you my son for the school. No, I said, I come because my son will go to the school, not more. But you know all the problem we have now, how we will do it, with which help, with how we will manage it, it's another problem. But it's beginning. And with that, the young people are saying, we have lived 10 years, 15 years with normal people. We don't think to be only together with Down syndrome people now. That's not possible. That. So the families hear that about their son and their daughter, and that they're asking for change. And so these young people are today accompanied and trained to live in the greatest possible autonomy. So that's the same to be in independent living, and that's the base of for exercise to exercise their full citizenship. That means we say them, and we insist really in French Federation to say that they are citizens as otherwise, not more and not less. Yes, thank you. But development of a project based on that project is based on the participation of the person with disabilities concerned. Also, project according to the needs of people with disabilities, human support, accessibility, and mobilization of community networks. And also establishment of operation partnership. That means the partnership is for the portage and the rental management. That means all the things that the association will not manage, because the association will manage the part for the people with Down syndrome. But they are thinking, we see that after, to include this project in another project, larger one. The localization of future inclusive living project is like we have seen during the day. That means in the town and not far away, close to the town center, and involved in the larger plan with social living also. That means the housing complex that will bring together different audiences, generations, socioeconomic levels, family typology. And to precise that, there is 10 evolutive and adaptable housing dedicated to the people with disabilities. And there is also 70 social housing in the building. That means that in the group, like Moken also before, that's the same, not just a small group and a small house. we see that we can see here that I don't know if I can show. Yes. Where is it?
It's up
You
there.
copy that
Yeah,
under-
it's
under-
up there.
Yeah, you should click on
Oh,
it.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Viva.
The blue one.
Yes.
Underneath, from underneath.
Ah.
You have to choose which one you want.
Yes, but it's not yet.
Well, no,
I think that's
you
gonna
have to
highlight
close
one of them.
all of these, because there are too many things open.
Okay, so I disclose how what I can. Like that, like that. Now that one no.
You have to choose and then come to right.
Yes, but I cannot choose because if I try to choose it, it's not active. I will do that by A4.
No, just close it.
Yes, but on the it doesn't act, it's not active either. So
No, escape.
No, no, you have to
No.
continue.
No, okay.
continue. Okay.
Too many.
But at that moment, yes, we have to go before, yes, we have to go before. What doesn't matter, we will go back to the presentation.
Okay, where is your?
Yes, no, it's with the key. The key that is here.
Yeah.
Yes, and here it's, yes, it's, that's one.
I started.
Okay. Okay, I will cancel that because I did not, no? See, you sure? Because now you will open mine.
Okay.
We open mine. We were there.
Yes.
Presentation. Okay, so we are here and I don't touch. He doesn't like that picture. Okay. Yes, I will.
Just like this.
Yes. Like that and. Okay, so I will see the area in the complex, and now just to show you, and I can show with the mark now that part is the common part. That means they will have also a common part like in Moken, previous in the construction. The expert mission in the project will be to ensure the coordination of this social project, to propose support for the exercise of citizenship, especially for people in situation of disability. It will also be responsible for disability awareness events in the neighborhood. And above all, she will have a role of advice and support for people in situation of handicap. That's the full mission for this association. And as I told you, there is two other associations, one for the social part and the social housing, and another one for the apartment for people with disability, who will make the administration and with the financial administration. So now I want to show you as an example the Camille's presentation project. That means Camille did a presentation to one association in September. So that means she prepared, and she with Down syndrome. She is 24 years old, and she prepared this presentation with people from the association, and she presented it by herself. So I wanted to show you 3 pictures from that presentation to see that the project is also with one people with Down syndrome. So what is inclusive living? I did the translation in English. That was only in French before because that was for French people. That is the picture in French, and I show you now the same picture. So that's I did that, but
You can
you
translate.
okay.
Go back to the
Yes.
translate.
Yes, but you asked me something but more difficult. So inclusive.
You want I do it?
What? I will try, and I will. If I cannot, I will ask here also, because I mean inclusive living and or inclusive shared and accompanied living. Do you know it? Also, what does it bring? Does it brings to your mind, and how would you define it? After that was that one, and yes, the same. So I go back to that one, and that means that's a group of apartment with of rooms in a group of apartment with special areas, autonomic areas, or also with apartment with or bedroom in the same apartment. That means with a group of person living in the same area, and also with service support, and also promoting a specific social project. That means, or that it. Well, I yes, you can help me.
Outside.
Yes, outside.
Registration.
Yes, that means that not a social medical service, and he didn't get money from the government at the same like an institution. They have to bring out to find the money by their own as a project. That means they are partners with people who will give money for that project. That means collective and autonomy, collective solidarity and an autonomic decision. And there is also dispositif, I don't remember. That means solution for accompany for the social life for specific and not medical way. Yes, side. Thank you for your help. And there is also a citizen dimension, of course, in that project. That's the most important for her. And at the end, no, that was the third one. No, that one also. What are the aims of the association for that project? That means one living adapted and well including in the quarter or in the district and in the town, which offer also useful social service and place open for the sharedness and to share places, activities, and meeting close to infrastructure, and that means a shop and community and like that, and also promoting the development and upholding the autonomy, supporting the autonomy. That was in English. Yes, we can see it. We can see it because that not, but it's difficult. Yes, and in conclusion, this project is on the way. It's not realized now. But one important aspect is that one person with Down syndrome is involved as a worker in the project, and that is an inclusive project in both sides for future people, person with Down syndrome, and also by their own as self-advocates. And I wanted to finish with that picture because today and tomorrow is a celebration in France because that's a national day for Down syndrome. Before 2005, when Jacqueline said that we could make national mondial world Down syndrome day, there was in France a national day, and by the federation. So we even we thought to make only one, and we make a survey, and the survey said no, we will give the two ones. So we are celebrating in November and also in March. So that's now today, and now this year we decided to say that's a sentence that citizen by at 100% is normal, of course. So, and my group, my association in my country is offering a concert tonight, and all people are coming, sharing the meal together. And the self-advocate of our country who went to Glasgow last year, and who went to another congress from self-advocate, but French Congress one, because the French one were in the Congress in Glasgow last year said, oh yes, that was very interesting, but all in English. And so maybe we couldn't spoke with our guys, with our friends. So we try to make a Congress with French people. So they did it last month. And two people from my country went there, so they are presenting their experience to the people now, exactly now. So, thanks for your attention.
Thank you.